Good afternoon. It is currently 12:07 p.m. for me, 7:07 p.m. for the boys over in the UK. It is currently the 5th of March, so we are descending into month 3. And despite all the stress and complications, the obstacles that had to be conquered to get it done, what I can proudly say is that I do believe we've gotten closer to 10 sessions out already this year, and I did it all on my own. My other co-hosts were just incredibly busy, taking care of their personal lives, and we have yet to see a session from them, or a session with them. But not only that, we managed to salvage a session that we did with Cape Town, South African trap metal group Darkverse Syndicate. My side of the conversation had been sabotaged, and that's why we returned to Zoom. However, what I can say very proudly is that not only did I improvise a new graffiti-style Afrikaans translated logo for them that we then utilized in the art, providing spotlight to my calligraphy and logo design efforts, but I also did my first ever voice acting efforts, re-recording my side of the conversation in the style and voice impression of a radio host from the early 1900s, and then through the help of CapCut, which is the editing software I currently use, I ended up putting like a lo-fi layer on there just to make it sound even more old. And I do hope that everyone enjoys that new Crosscast, that being the latest one, as it continues to settle into public domain. Currently in storage, to let y'all know, as of the recording of this session, we have a new one with From Misery to Malice, which has John Marshall, formerly of Austrian technical death metal titan Spire of Lazarus, return full-time, invested since his departure from Spire of Lazarus back in 2022, going full-time then into From Misery to Malice, which is a Louisiana local deathcore band. We have a session with him and the rest of the band entirely, all on a couch, and at that, a couch in a storage unit that they have rented for all of their band stuff, which I thought was really, really cool. After From Misery to Malice, we have a session, our second ever AZ local band, returning hard with a MySpace revival band, that being In Faith and Misery. We hosted Benny, Josiah, and Zeph from that band. Did a BTS section, also for From Misery to Malice, we did BTS, fulfilling the formula then for all the recent bands. But what I'm trying to say is, we have a incompleted session for Null Existence returning, Spire of Lazarus returning, we have From Misery to Malice, In Faith and Misery, and well, after 5 years, 5 years, ladies and gentlemen, of trying to get this session organized. Just certain complications arose, but I think now that this stands above the rest as far as how long it took, and I don't mind as long as we got it done in the first place, and we're here. We are hosting Suffer UK, the first ever UK local band that I ever reached out to in the show, going as far back as I think May or June of 2021. Now, when we first reached out to this band, it was to promote their upcoming, and I do believe latest full-length album, The Sorrow We Sow, The Hatred We Know. Brilliant album cover, I do believe done by the same artist who would do, need to move, Viscera's Carcinogenesis, as well as Oblivion, so a consistent artist with them, and one signed now and provided housing consistency under the Unique Leader Records label when it isn't Kalen Stokerman's, as well as plenty of other bands also associated with Unique Leader Records, Osaya. So let's just say it's been a long time coming, and now we finally get to host the first UK band we ever reached out to. Since this change, they have acquired a new vocalist, there have been a couple lineup changes, and they have a new song coming out on the 13th of March. Now, as of the recording of this session, this will be, I do believe, episode 124, as it will be unleashed upon the public the same day that their new song premieres. I've been given an opportunity to go ahead and listen to this early on, so we're going to pull up the link for this, but of course, without dragging on my own personal introductory commentary too much, gentlemen, how we doing?
Yeah, good, man. Good.
Good.
Finally got to do this.
Finally got to do this indeed. I'm hyped.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do also like that their new frontman has a mullet. I think it's the first time I've seen a gentleman from the UK with the mullet, but I think it's pretty fitting. I like it. So,
Thank you.
of course. If y'all could actually do me a favor, and though there aren't any audio only listeners per se, go ahead and introduce us to you by name, please and thank you.
Okay, so I'm Greg, the vocalist of Southern.
Yeah. I'm Jack, drums. Yeah. Been here
Sweet.
a long time.
So we got Braden and Jack, correct?
No,
Greg.
Greg, sorry.
Greg. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, your name's at the bottom of the fucking screen. Oh my god. Okay, that's fine. It was just there to reveal it to me. It's like, hey, his name's at the bottom. That's okay. And now we unleash Pendulum of Vigilance. Listening early here on the Anatomy Crosscast. Dude, yes. Delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. All right, so I wanted to provide any and all commentary I could for my first listen, and attempting to dig back in time to that of the sorrow we sow, the hatred we know. Comparing it to that, and comparing it to that an album that was released so long ago, I can definitely hear some inspiration in there, possibly from bands like Osiah. We have a melodic deathcore band that definitely leans more into beatdown, but also has every intention to make callbacks, genretically speaking, with musical composition to more traditional death metal. Like those were kind of the impressions I was getting. Not only that, but that of Greg's vocal spectrum, the more animalistic, the more goblin tones, that like all that shit. It really takes me back to listening to my first couple bands, I would say, getting started out in the heavier deathcore genre. So,
That's cool.
of course, before we get into the BTS section, the Crosscore Patreon exclusive section, one of two at that, that could offer pretty good monetization and profit opportunities between Suffer and the Anatomy Crosscast, I wanted to kind of get a brief glimpse into how this song was created and how that, maybe Jack, in your opinion, being in the band all this time, might compare to that of a greater effort like the sorrow we sow, the hatred we know.
Well, writing the album was weird because we actually wrote a lot of it during like lockdown in 2021. So a lot of that was just written predominantly by myself and Ash, the guitarist at the time. So it was a really weird. We didn't write in a room together. We didn't get together to write it. It was just all done on laptops, and it was a very strange experience. I mean, we loved the album, of course, but it was different to what we would normally do. Whereas this song was more of a combination of the two. A lot of it was written in the room by us as a band, and then Greg and Claudius actually joined just after this song was written. Um, so he rewrote all the vocals. Of course, we changed the song from what it originally was with Claudius in and added a few extra sections. But it's a whole different writing style, to be honest, because it was more in-person writing, sitting in a room and working stuff out, rather than someone records a riff and sends it over and I make some drums and then we're like, song. So
Yeah.
a much more fun experience. I mean, I had a lot of fun recording the album and writing the album, absolutely. And Ash would tell you the same if he was still a part of the band. Like, it was a great that we had a right laugh writing it, but there's nothing like writing in a room with your mates and just
Oh,
doing it like that. So
yeah, absolutely. And what I can say too regarding all of the albums that we got in 2020 and 2021, I mean, I'm sure most musicians felt the same way when it
yeah,
came to writing their greater efforts at the time. It was a time for experimentation. It was a time to get weird and true counterculture, as per this show and the people affiliated their brand,
yeah,
a part of their identity, really. But most importantly, when I think of the albums that were written at the time, I almost compare it to paranormal investigators going into a place and attempting to have a conversation with entities, with ghosts, with spirits, people who are no longer here but were once upon a time, or at least that's what the claim is. And
yeah,
they get that EVP device out and they start having conversations, they start asking questions, and they get an answer eventually. Sometimes it's a strange answer, sometimes it's a disembodied scream that they didn't hear in the room before. What I'm trying to say is, though the two parties connect, or the multiple parties connect in that experience to create music, at the time, it's like it was a lot less connected and it was a lot less personal, but not in the
definitely.
means that it was like important, more that it was in different spaces, in different realms, almost. So
Mhm.
that was the fun of pandemic albums, but I'll tell you what, it's nice to be back and have been back now for about 4 or 5 years. It's been
Yeah.
crazy since. Hasn't really gotten any
Yeah.
less crazy, but we're all able to
No, the world's
connect
a
a little
crazy
more.
place.
Yeah. So awesome. And Greg, if you want to, of course, you ended up writing all the lyrics to this. You ended up being the final piece of the puzzle that would compel this single to be the next one in the discography. What would you say was your process and getting into Suffer? Briefly, of course, because that's really the people part.
Well, it kind of, in kind of a nutshell. Um, when I first joined Suffer, I had to learn a large amount of songs over a quick period of time. So really quickly, I got into Ash's mind frame of writing lyrics for Suffer.
Choppers.
Choppers, sorry, Choppers. Do apologize.
My bad. Put you off.
What was I going to say? So yeah, I was in the blueprints for what in essence is a Suffer song. I thought to myself, well, what can I take from that and bring from my own perspective, from like what I would prefer the lyrics to be like. So I always like the idea of getting the audience connected and writing a song that's actually a little bit real. So there's always that like connection to like situations. So I thought, okay, how can I make a violent song that everybody would relate to? And then I thought, okay, so everybody feels a bit of revenge every now and then hence a pendulum of vengeance was born.
It was.
Originally, it was called.
It's
Love
had about 8
Retaliation.
names. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
had about 8 names.
Yeah.
We've gone through it.
But we redrafted it and then we came out with that agreed one.
Yeah, eventually we settled on one. We couldn't decide for quite a while.
So it's that attempt at making the lyric a bit more fictional.
For sure. No, that's awesome. And when you're able to write lyrics and when you're able to then decide over time on a name that connects with those lyrics that you think will then connect to a lot more people, well, I'm sure any band who goes through that process and finally they compromise, they find a common ground, they agree, and then they're like, okay, let's just get this out. It's been so long since we've been able to make music in the first place. Let's at least show people that we're still alive from the sense of being an entity, being one being that happens to be named Suffer. One can only imagine how satisfying it must be to finally make that announcement, set a date, and be like, okay, gonna give you guys a little bit of time because marketing, but Pendulum of Vengeance isn't that? I was about to say Pendulum of Vigilance or something. It's like, what's Vigilance? But no, that's awesome. That's wonderful. And I'm noticing, Greg, your accent, sir. You have a very, very different accent from that of Mr. Kent here. Where are you from?
Believe it or not, miles apart, really. I'm about a few miles up the road.
Yeah, we're from the same area, roughly.
Interesting.
England's wild, man.
I've just got a bit more of a broader Black Country accent.
Yeah. I'm probably poshing it up a little bit for me, but in the room when I'm not on the camera, I'm probably worse than him.
Yeah, the thing is, so am I.
Yeah. We're trying our best. We're going to try and pick. I mean, you were drinking a tea. We're trying to be British, but it's just.
All right. Wonderful.
I think with the title, just to touch on the title as well, I think with that title, we wanted with the single, we wanted something that can be portrayed in the title and the music, but as well visually. And we thought the pendulum, and that we can portray that in the video as well for like bigger songs that we're going to release as singles. It's always nice to have that correlation of the music, the title, and the visual as well. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, just
no, you're
went
good.
off track there.
No, you're good. Damn good for marketing, I would say. All right, so let's go ahead and now we get into the public domain part of the Crosscast, the interview tonight with Greg and Jack Kent from Suffer, the first ever UK band we ever reached out to. And before we get truly started, though it's rather improvised and shit, wanted to mention our sponsors. So we are sponsored by WGG, which is an energy drink company, and I placed an order. I haven't utilized any of the creator codes yet to get a discounted creator bundle kit because they sold out before I could. I've been enjoying my drink for at least a month now. This is the cup for it. They got really nice cups. They worked with a company called Sports Shaker to create a more sophisticated lid that does not leak at all. There's no security breaches at all. And I don't have the tub in here in the room with me, but I ended up buying their Free Ren themed honeydew and white grape flavor. The only discrepancies are a couple of ingredients that I will be doing a one-on-one emo with them soon to hopefully correct. That way they can capitalize and surpass the competitors I've invested into before by infusing their drink mix with electrolytes and removing a key ingredient that makes all energy drinks in the mainstream really, really bad for your stomach. So, through code CROSS, CROSS, you can get a 15% off discount with your order at checkout. And yeah, please place your orders, get motivated, be better, for it's always a dub with Dubby. Our second sponsor, which is actually ironically more relevant to Suffer, the boys in Suffer over in the UK, than it is for us over here in the US with the tariffs in mind, we have Pathologically Explicit Recordings sponsoring us. This is a vinyl pressing company that also doubles as a distributor and record label based over in Spain, but they handle a great variety of bands that we've hosted, including Marian Topsy and Eden Adversary over in Indonesia. With the same code, CROSS, CROSS, you can get a 15% off discount when you place a music order with them for any of their CDs. And I do believe because of their vinyl pressing business, you can also get a 15% off discount for bulk vinyl pressing, which could save people and bands a lot of money in the long run. So, with both of these sponsors in mind, do me and the Anatomy Crosscast affiliates a favor, that being Tony Slam, the Orc King, and eventually a new one. Go ahead and get a W order, get energized, get motivated, electrified with caffeination, and then go record one of the coolest upcoming EPs or albums in various truly heavy, audaciously heavy metal subgenres. And then, once you're done recording that, get the vinyl pressed through Pathologically Explicit Recordings, all using the code CROSS, CROSS. That will be the end of the sponsor. And now, how are we doing, boys? Are we still feeling good?
Yeah, man. Feeling good.
Feeling good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Good. Wanted to check in after the hour that we've spent already, I do believe, on the BTS section. Folks, please consider investing into the Crosscore Patreon, either doing a one-time payment for this podcast or subscribing to the Crosscore Patreon for $3 a month, the same price that most OnlyFans models would charge you, only to try to convince you to spend $100 on them as if you're in person with them, and that will never happen. Be better, right? Go ahead and invest into the Crosscore Patreon, invest into what will be eventually, once we start getting money flowing through, 5 channels worth of content by me. And that's just me. Other cross creations or cross-core affiliates will also eventually have Patreon exclusive content that they will then get, their chunk of money from as more content flows into there. The sooner you guys invest, the sooner that you get a personalized thank you message from me, and the sooner that I can slowly start crawling into making YouTube and the many things I plan to do on YouTube. Whether 2 different bands, a lo-fi hip-hop solo project, the Anatomy Crosscast, my music journalism with Sean Cross, Dark Matter Paranormal Investigations, which will be a ghost hunting channel in the future, or that of Cryptics.
I will watch.
Thank you. Well, luckily for you guys, the Anatomy Crosscast coincides with that, because we eventually plan to travel, meet with the people we've hosted on the show, and go paranormal investigating with them in person. Oh. So that'll be really fun once we can finally make that happen and get all the money arranged. But consider it, people. Consider investing into the Crosscore Patreon. Help me and my associates under the Crosscore Creations LLC get started with making YouTube our full-time job through various creative mediums. Now, let's get into the actual Crosscast, right? So, this is the people segment. This is to learn as much about you two and your background as musicians as possible. We already touched a little bit on that with the BTS section, and that's completely okay. So what I want to start off with is the same exact order that we kickstarted this whole session with, which I do believe had a start with Jack. Go ahead and take about 10 to 20 minutes, explain your musical background, musical side projects that you had along the way, and what led you to being one of the biggest pieces of Suffer to this date.
Wow. So obviously, like I say, when I was younger, my mum always brought me up on music, punk music, and I worked my way into metal and stuff like that myself, and hip hop. I'm a big hip hop fan. All sorts. I mean, I listen to all sorts of music. My playlist is ridiculous. But yeah, 1 minute it'll be like the 1975, and then we'll be listening to, I don't know, Good Trek to me, and
Every
then
time we're in the car, it'll go from like kind of rap to like metal, back to rap, back to the post. Like,
yeah, it just
wow.
goes lots of emo.
Yeah.
I'm a very much a MySpace emo kid. Like
Yeah.
that was a phase. It was definitely a phase though. But I still listen to the music. I just don't have the fringe.
I see.
But I mean, when it comes to playing music, I mean, I've always messed around with drums. I've never had like music lessons or anything like that when it's come to the instruments. I kind of always messed around with drums when I was younger, but my first band, I was a vocalist for them in a metalcore band. We were called A Clear Conscience, and it was a time to be alive. It was MySpace. We still played with some really cool. Yeah, I know, bro. Well, we've heard your old bands anyway. But yeah, that was my first band. So I was a vocalist in that. We did some cool stuff for about 3 years. We played with some pretty cool bands, especially like, I mean, MySpace era deathcore bands from the UK, like Eternal Lord, who have just made a comeback, which is super cool. And bands like Viatrophy, who was Craig Williams, who's straight from the path, like Craig Reynolds, is it Reynolds? Williams, what am I on about? Craig Reynolds, yeah. So he one of his first bands. We played some shows with them, like some really. It was fun, but I don't know why I went from being a vocalist to being a drummer, because I went from having no equipment to having a drum kit, and that was the stupidest decision of my teenage years. It was just like, what am I doing?
Right.
I realise that now. Now I'm old and a little wiser.
Older.
But yeah, older. That's a good way of putting it. But yeah, I mean, that was my starting music was that, and then I went in and out of like bands where it was playing drums or doing vocals, and then like I say, doing some hip hop stuff and some electronic music stuff, like making like beats and dubstep and stuff like that. But nothing really major. Like I say, dotted in and out of bands. Always had a rehearsal space and a drum kit set up and stuff like that, but nothing ever serious, properly serious until Suffer, really. I went to college and university and all that and studied music and I've been around music all my life, basically. It's been my entire personality for a long time. Whether I've been successful in it or not, I've enjoyed all of it, really. So, I mean, obviously Suffer, when Suffer started, that was it's funny how it started, because Ash and Chobber, obviously the original vocalist and original guitarist, they started the band. I was at we were at a house party on a New Year's Eve, and everyone's obviously had a few drinks, and they'd said, "Do you want to start a metal band, like a deathcore band?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, why not? I'll have a go, you know." Went and bought a double bass pedal. We got a practice. We went and had a few practices, making some noise, and we were like, "Yeah, this could be fun." This was in 2018 now, so obviously I've skipped a lot, but what came before it wasn't. Has the headphone died?
Yeah, no, my phone.
Oh, his phone's died. Here, I have one headphone.
Okay.
Don't know what it'll be right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Right, okay,
Yeah.
right, we're back. Right, okay. Technical difficulties.
No worries.
So yeah, 2018, like I say, they asked me to if we wanted to have a jam and see where we went with it. And then it was quite interesting because like we've had like quite a few members before. Well, we didn't have quite a few members, but like for example, there was the three of us, and then our friend Kyle was going to be playing bass at the time, but he'd never actually played an instrument, so he was just like bought a bass and started learning on the spot, which was he'd never played before, and they're using a practice room with a bass plugged into an amp. Let's go. And that then he shortly after we've actually found someone who played bass. And Coop joined, and Kyle became like our merch guy for a bit, which was fun because he's a good friend, really good friend of Chobber and Ash as well. So, but then Coop joined, and then he also left like shortly after for like 3 months to go and do barbering in Greece. Like he just moved to some really hot country. He just said, "Boys, I've got to leave. I'm going abroad." And I was like, "What?" And then 3 months later, he came back and said, "Do you still need a bassist?" And we were like, yeah, like that's cool. Come back in. We had another guy on guitar come in, and that didn't work out. He was a bit of a loser. And then we said, "Oh, there's a annotations of an autopsy are playing in Birmingham on a reunion show." I was like, "Should we try and get a support slot?" And at this point, we didn't even have a Facebook. We didn't have any music out. We were just messing around and posting the odd video on like our own Instagram profiles. And then we messaged the promoter, "Surprise, you're dead," and they were like, "Yeah, you can play on the show." And we were like, "Shit!" So we had to find a guitarist, and we found a guitarist. He had we actually recorded an EP in my shed, and then I mixed it. The first EP. It's awful quality, but it's a great EP. We had a lot of fun. But we recorded that, and then our current guitarist Kieran joined about 4 weeks before playing the show with annotations, and he had to learn everything, and it was a rammed show. He was actually at the show watching us.
The show, watching.
Yeah, Greg was there as a fan.
Damn.
We didn't even know him then. Well, Coop went to school with you, didn't he? But,
Yeah.
But yeah, it just everything we've suffered just went pretty crazy from there. Because at the time in 2019, when we played our first show, there was like a really big deathcore revival in the UK. Like we had Fall in the Brawl Festival, we had various other like big agencies just sending really cool tours over, and all the locals were getting on, and we had a really, really, really cool start. Like it just kicked off from that first EP, then we did the next singles and the next EP, and up until COVID hitting, it was on a real good high. But I mean, being in Suffer from the start has been an absolute journey. But there's things I'd change that I've done, but in general, what the band has achieved and what we've done over our time, I wouldn't really change a thing. It's been really good, great memories, great experiences. I've had to learn from a lot of it in music, because music industry is fucking crazy and it changes every week. There's something new, and I'm like, fuck, I've got to try and keep up with this shit. And like, but I just love music. I just want music to always be there as a medium for what people need, and we have a great time. We try and keep it as fun as we can as well. We've got to get serious sometimes, but it's just a real laugh. I mean, I love being in stuff. I mean, like we've touched on in other interviews about how in 2025 last year, when like Ash and Chobber left in 2024, and we replaced them with Aaron and Jim, and that we did some cool stuff in that year, but it was never really going to work out, I guess. And then Greg and Claudia's coming in. It's like a whole new lease of life now for the band. Like, feels like it's all moving in the right direction. We've got some really cool stuff happening this year, and yeah, Suffer is as Coop would say, if our bassist would here, he'd say he's an OG member, and he would send Greg or Claudius to get a drink.
Love it.
But I'm not sure if I can go on for 20 minutes, but I mean,
it was close to it.
yeah, I mean, my favourite band's Under Oath, which probably makes me a really boring deathcore kid. Like, sorry guys, but Under Oath and Counterparts are like up there. But I also am obsessed with like emo music. So
right. Well, in that case, before we jump over to Greg, because I've been meaning to do this for a long time, the questionnaire, right? It's pretty vast. and it's evolved in a way that sometimes is overwhelming for musicians. Even brand new guests were like, "Yeah, nah, this is not for us." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And it was just like too many questions. So, who would you
Oh, I
say?
love questions.
Right? I hope so. Who would you say are your top 5 most prolific bands and artists when it comes to Suffer?
Or as a whole, um, I mean, the main influences on like Suffer starting would probably be bands like Job for a Cowboy, like Whitechapel, Die Art. Uh, like they, I mean, they when the band started with Chobber and Ash, these are kind of bands that like were influencing them. Like I said, I mean, Job for a Cowboy, I was there for the MySpace era of them, like and like for a lot of the earlier deathcore scene. But I kind of like fell out of the deathcore scene and kind of went different ways with my music. So when they asked me to join this, I was like, what are we going to sound like? And then they were having to show me bands, like, and I was like, okay, this is sick, this is sick, this is sick. I mean, one of the main influences, which is a newer band, was probably Traitors and Body Snatcher.
Dude,
They're probably
yes.
two huge influences on it, especially our earlier stuff that kind of leaned even more into the beatdown, that style and slam. Like we kind of leaned it more so than we do now. We still have elements of it because we're always got to have that element because that's what we've always been about. That groove and that beatdown feel at times as well. So, but I'd say Body Snatcher and Traitors were huge influences on our early sound for sure.
Okay.
Trousers falling down.
And then how about for you personally? So you've already mentioned Under Oath and Counterparts. Who else is in like your like hill to die
metal
upon?
wise,
Yeah.
Metal wise, Devil Wears Prada are 100% up there. I've been listening to them since like 2003, so way back before they even had an album out. Like I was listening to those guys. They're up there. Probably one of my favorite metal bands. I mean, metalcore would probably be 36 Crazy Fists. From Alaska. They had an album called The Snowcap Romance, and I still probably listen to it at least once or twice a week. It's just there. It's ingrained in my brain. Like I love that record. Brock, the singer, his twang, that Alaskan twang. I don't know what it is, but it's fucking cool. I love his voice. I'd say they're up there. And probably metal, man. Like Bleeding Through. Huge influence on me metal wise. Like when I try and learn drums, I'll try and listen to them a lot before I'll listen to deathcore bands. I'll listen to Bleeding Through. So like,
Okay.
what would they have done? So it's a try and take something from them and bring it to a newer style. But I'd
Yeah.
say probably metal wise that. I mean, my favorite band, like I say, it's probably always going to be Under Oath, but Taking Back Sunday are up there, Thrice are up there, Thursday. I mean, newer bands like Movements, massively into them, and Tiny Moving Parts. Give shout out to my friends' bands like Dream State, super cool band.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they're really cool. Jess is my partner's like best friend, so I see her quite a lot. She's a
Sweet.
brilliant person, great singer. Yeah, but yeah, pretty much emo, and then like my hip hop. I can talk about hip hop for too long. I mean, these lot get bored of it when it comes on the playlist. They're like, more rap, and I'm like, yes.
I like to play a show to like Snoop Dogg, you know? It's just like,
Yeah, it's like, I mean, Gangstar, Wu-Tang, Common, Big L, Tribe, like just I can go. I mean, I could just literally sit here and read my CD wall, and it's just majority of it is hip hop, and then there's random metal in there. Yeah, I'm
So
just looking at. I keep going to Ice T's name. Why is Ice T's name the only one I've seen?
if I may ask, as someone who plans to be a lo-fi hip-hop rapper here in the near future, just for the sake of lyrical flow, but also to play and not be too uptight about the lyrical efforts of bands like Red Hot Chili Peppers or Rob Zombie, but bringing that then into lo-fi hip-hop, what would you say is the most important hip-hop album of all time to listen to if someone might be trying to become a new rapper?
My God, I'm probably gonna have to say something that a lot of hip hop fans, if they're watching, if anybody's watching that listens to hip hop, they're gonna say it's probably a quite generic album to say, but it's always gonna be Nas New York State of Mind, like Illmatic. That whole album, front to back, is I still again, it's always on my playlist. If I go on my Spotify liked songs and I click play, the first song that will come on will be New York State of Mind.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, the Illmatic album from 1994. Like, I actually, when I went to New York, I didn't spend much time in like the touristy locations. I just wanted to go to the boroughs. So I just went to Queensbridge, went to where he grew up in the block of flats, and just stood by the mural, had my picture, got pretty scared because it was night time, and then off I went. Got lost in Harlem after I went to the Big L mural on 139 Lenox. Like, I got lost and couldn't find my way back to the metro or the underground. I couldn't get back to it, and then I was just stuck in the middle of Harlem at like 1 a.m. and I was like, "Fuck!"
Well,
yeah. So
as someone who
Nas,
is
Illmatic,
Illmatic by who? The Big L?
Nas,
Oh, Nas.
Nas, yeah,
Okay.
Nas.
Okay, cool.
That is my go-to.
Well, I'm sure you've never heard of them. There is a lo-fi hip-hop supergroup called Exosociety, consisting of Kill Bill the rapper, Rav, Square,
Okay.
Aerospace, and others. One of my like Roman Empire albums, if you will, one that's been a big inspiration to the 20-track album I plan to write and mostly improvise, lyrically speaking. It's called Deception Falls, and you can only find it on YouTube, but it is one of the best pieces of hip-hop that I have ever listened to. There's a little bit of everything in there, and they all essentially rented out a cabin deep in the Washington woods. They all took like acid and different psychedelics, as well as like smoked weed and drank and just enjoyed their time there. But they wrote this album, and it just, when I listen to it, I think of like a really overcast state territory. I think of like it being just cold enough to where you have to wear a hoodie while you're outside because you'll see your breath. Drinking some warm tea, having some good hearty food with your friends. It's just one of my favorite albums to listen to, and especially as like it starts getting hotter here, it's like one of my forms of escapism. So I would recommend to you then Exosociety's Deception Falls, and then the album Skin by Kill Bill, Rav, and Square. Those are like two of my favorite rap albums of all time.
Yeah, you have to send me these on Facebook.
I will.
If I was going to say anyone from England, like obviously our like hip hop scene is more, it's called grime, so it's a bit faster, I guess. But there's an album. It was from, I want to say 2015 or 2016 maybe, by a guy from London called Kano.
Kano, yeah.
The album's called Made in the Manor, and that is like, I was at the time when that came out, I'd gone through like a rough like breakup, and I was like, right, I'm going traveling because I've never been anywhere. I've never been on a plane. So the first flight I booked was to Florida on my own. I was just like, here we go. I was like, I'm off. And that album came out, and I spent like a week walking around Florida, Orlando, just listening to that album, Made in the Manor. There's a song on there called T-Shirt Weather, and that song, it's just all about sunny summer days, and I'd never been anywhere as fucking hot as Florida. I was like, what the fuck is this? That song got me through, and many bottles of water. But yeah, Made in the Manor by Kano and Illmatic by Nas would probably be my two go-tos for the last like 15 years. 10 years with Kano, but Illmatic's been in my life since I was about 12, I think. So probably 24 years I've been listening to that album.
Sweet. Well, I have sent you the links then for those two lo-fi hip-hop records that I would recommend. And now, Mr. Greg, it is your turn, sir. It is time to bring that proper frontman syndrome into this conversation. So let's go ahead and do it the same way with you that we did with Jack. Take us from the beginning of you being a vocalist, and yeah.
The vocalist. So I guess it kind of came about. I was in high school. And at the time, Bring Me the Horizon, Pray for Play, that had just come out. And I just started doing kind of like the high vocal in like, just to a couple of my friends, just like, I think at the same time I was almost trying to pretend to be Gollum as well. And they actually said, you know what, that sounds quite good, that does. So again, I thought nothing of it. And then me and my friends, we started like our first ever band, and we used to practice in like my dining room, and it was awful. It was probably the worst thing ever, but like, the guitarist would always give me a jab in the arm if I never like held a note for so long. Yeah. And then
teaching you timings, nice and early.
Like Devil Wears Prada and the breakdowns, like.
It could be a lot of them.
It's one of it's more popular Devil Wears Prada, so I'm going back. So Yeah, that kind of was a thing. And then I remember my first ever show being in Wolverhampton. Do you remember that venue that was underground? It had like a panel of glass, and it was underground. Yeah, I've got Varsity over there, and then, well, anyway.
Oh, Royal London. No, not
No.
Royal London.
Well, anyway, so I always remember that my first ever gig because this guy says, "If you swear, I'm turning the mic off." So I was like, "Right, you fuckers!" And then he did. He turned the mic off. He actually turned the mic off, but it went
Savage.
well. We had a little mosh pit, my first ever gig, so
Yeah.
that was a thing. And then kind of me and my friend, we was like, we fell out with that band because so we started another band, and that band actually did quite well. We recorded the demo, we recorded an EP. We played a fair few like gigs like around, nothing amazing, but like at the time we were like at that age where it was impressionable to be playing for like 20 people. You're like, yeah, let's go. Like it was just good fun. I mean, there was one venue we played where our bassist had to wait outside until we could play to be let in because he was underage. So it was we were really young, so we didn't have two pennies to rub together really. I mean, we all used to carry them from the stuff on the bus. None of us could drive.
I've been there.
Yeah. So that was fun. Then when that came to an end, I went to university for a while, dropped out, all that good stuff. And then one day, like it must have been like 5, 6 years later, I thought, I've got this. I actually wouldn't mind being in a band again. I missed the days. So I went on Build a Band, like anybody does. Met a few guitarists, this, that, and the other. And then eventually, I ended up recording a slam EP.
Oh, yeah.
I went from literally knowing a guitarist who kind of wrote like this kind of slicky metal, and I thought to myself, that's not really my taste. So like, I grew up with like Bring the Horizon, and then obviously it developed into like you said, Job for a Cowboy, All Shall Perish, that MySpace era deathcore kind of vibe. Suicide Silence was a huge influence.
Yeah.
So, but then when I hit this thing when I was like, right, I want to go back, but I don't want to go kind of like down them routes because all right, let's do a slam band. So in the end, influences like Wake and the Cadaver, Annotations of an Autopsy, but also like Ingested, all those good, Black Sea,
And that's it.
yeah,
Sick of that.
all those bands. Did a slam band for a while, and then I got into the band that I was in before I joined these guys, Higher State. And again, it was going well until lockdown. Lockdown happened. We never really got a gig out, but we did a few gigs. Lockdown happened, and then that was it. Nothing kind of went on hiatus for a while. Came back, and then it took off a bit. Actually, we did do all right. We did a music video. We did a few gigs up and down the country, and then one day the bassist of Suffolk, he puts up on looking for members. And at the time, I was having fun with the old band, but we had like writing differences. So like my old band's nowhere near as heavy as this band, so it was kind of like. Vocally, I was always having to do like within a range. Like it was nothing kind of like I didn't have the freedom to say that I have on the Suffolk track to kind of like Jack was like just make pig noises. Yeah, I mean having
Pigs.
have someone say just make pig noises is really tough. So
Do the
I'm
roar.
like, hell yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Do the
So
roar.
let's
Do the roar.
we was doing like a scratch track in here. We do like little scratch tracks. It's like, no, go lower, ooh. So I like hearing that again. So it was a good fit. And then, here I am in Suffolk, a band I've listened to since you first came out, I think. So,
Yeah, like I say, it was at our first show.
yeah. I always say to him, it's kind of like being here. I feel like this is going to go somewhere. I feel I'm kind of feeling energized by it all. It's a really good vibe in the band, and I'm really happy to be here. Like I said, growing up with all my influences, it's just got bits of everything. I mean, you've got stuff like I've only just really started getting into bands like Kublai Khan and Paleface. I mean, I did say Kublai Khan with Chelsea Green back in the day, but I didn't really get into them. But now, like, obviously, you got bands like Kublai Khan, Paleface Swiss, who else you got, like Body Snatcher, and then I'm kind of liking that sound as well now. So stuff is a bit of everything, really.
Yeah, we
Okay.
try to keep it interesting.
Well, when it comes to then your flavor palette personally, what would be your top 5 bands that have kind of stood the test of time?
The test of time. Parkway Drive, Deep Blue album. Just it is just from the moment that album starts playing to the moment you can listen to it. It's one of the few albums that I can listen to every single song on the album and enjoy every single song for its craftsmanship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every song
It's a
feels
great
like
album.
and every song feels like it's got a meaning behind it, which is something that like I want to try and do with our lyrics. You can still have a good underlying meaning behind any song, and that's what I love about that one. Um, Lamb of God, and I can't remember what the album is, but it's the one with Laid to Rest. Because like back with my first band, we kind of were like liking Lamb of God. That was the direction. So kind of like my mid-range section probably does sound like it's got a bit of an American accent on it sometimes.
Oh yeah, we noticed.
Yeah. So it's kind of it does have a bit of that, but that's because again I was kind of like I do the same technique as him.
Yeah.
So like yeah. What else? And this is where it gets a bit complicated, don't it? You've got to be very tactful. You've got to be very tactful.
Just think metal. Just think metal for now.
Oh no, I am just thinking just metal, but it's like it's giving out honours. I've got to be particular. Malevolence has always been there for one for me. I like the way they compose the songs. When they're live, they bring so much energy. Like you know, they do, don't they? They bring the shit.
So, if I may interject, and this might help with the commentary as well. Since my beginning of getting into deathcore back in I think 2013 or 2014, I remember starting out with bands like Suicide Silence and Chelsea Grin, but specifically it was after Mitch passed away. I'm like, wait, the singer died like 2 years ago? They're like, yeah, dude, you're kind of late to the party. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I went onto YouTube and watched the memorial show and stuff. And I remember like clinging on to The Cleansing as like a DNA album or like a band.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like an album to start me out with as far as personally wanting to get more seriously involved in vocals. However, in 2019, at the tail end of 2019, December specifically, I remember it was cold enough to where I could have my window cracked open and a nice chill gust of wind came through the window. But I remember finding Signs of the Swarm's Cesspool of Ignorance, and then immediately after that, the next fucking video I watched was Shrine of Malice's Hollow Sockets, and I'm like, whoa, like this is cool. This is different. Like, how is CJ making his voice sound like that? And later on too, CJ and his efforts in the Cesspool of Ignorance are the reason that I learned how to do tunnels. I'm like, wait a minute, and like then I went from that point. But then after all the time, I'm like, wait a minute, The Cleansing is cool because of songs not unanswered. Like Unanswered is sick. It's a stable deathcore song, but then you got The Price of Beauty, or even YOLO on the Black Crown, and I kind of like the Black Crown a bit more compared to The Cleansing. But I'm like, wait a minute. The Disfigurement of Existence came out on my birthday in 2017. What the fuck? And then I kind of dove headfirst into it. I found songs like Cesspool of Ignorance, or Nightcrawlers, or Final Phase, or even Guided into Serenity, which is an instrumental. And I was like, ooh, they do instrumentals? This is sick. And now it's like the Disfigurement of Existence and Shrine of Malice's Sheol are like kind of the first two albums that I want to eventually vocally conquer and have like a personal vocal cover version of those albums, just to say that I did the homework with some of the albums that helped me get everything started. So maybe, if not the remaining 2 or 3 favorite bands, as we have 3, so that'd be the remaining 2 instead, what is maybe an album that you would consider going back in time and doing a full vocal cover of because you enjoy it so much?
Count your blessings, man.
Count your blessings.
Bring me a rise and count your blessings all day long. I would love that.
I think if most English vocalists would say the same, because it's just like iconic for UK deathcore, isn't it?
Things I could do to that album. Honestly, mate, like honestly, the things I could do, that would be such a good album to go back.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
If I had the vocal ability, this is Exile by Whitechapel. That would be a theatre. That would be a real.
That's an album.
Do this. You could successfully.
You put thoughts in his head. This is what we'll be doing all night now. We'll set the mic up.
I mean, He'd probably say he could, but could Phil still do that entire album? Do you reckon?
Yes, he fucking
I
could.
think he could. He'd need a bit of
Because
reason.
He
if
could
you
do that,
ever
and he
doubt
could do
Phil
it better.
Bozeman ever again,
Yeah,
I will kick you out of this band. You do not doubt that man. He is a saint.
No, he'd probably, to be honest, he could probably do it in sleep, and he's done it for years.
Yeah,
But
man.
no, if I had the vocal ability to do that, I'd do that album.
I challenge you then, sir.
Yeah.
I challenge you then.
This is Exile. Full vocal playthrough.
I'll just take your blessings first. Let me have a warm up. Because that's quite impressive, that'd be quite impressive. That album.
I'll let you off.
I'll start on taking blessings, and then I'll hone in my technique, and then This Is Exile will be my swan song album. Thing.
Yeah.
And then we'll never write a song again.
Well, not only that, but like I've been thinking about it recently because Sheol, I'm actually the closest to completing vocally already. I've covered, I think, 4 or 5 songs off of that record, including a Kiss of the Wind cover that I started my main Sean Cross channel with, though I didn't film my vocal POV when I was in a professional studio booth. I'm not sure why I didn't, but I didn't. And then I tried to record like a lip sync fucking thing with it. It was just awful because it had the watermark of the program I was using to record it just like plastered right in front of my face. I'm like, how do I get rid of this? Oh, I need premium? Fuck this. And I just discarded it. But Sheol is probably going to be the first album that I ever cover front to back. But I think I want to see a lot more vocalists doing that, to be honest, because if you end up getting used to doing an entire album by a band, covering that album and then putting it online, let alone maybe a live one take of you taking a 2 or 3 minute break in between each song, I think that shows people that you are more than capable one day of doing an entire set list worth of songs live without getting fatigued, exhausted, or straining your voice. Once you can get to the point of covering an entire album, you're fucking good for a 5-song set, let alone the choreography. Maybe you're moving around and you're active with it and shit. I don't know. I just think that should be...
Admit, I really agree with you. I mean, the only curse of being in this band so far is time. I would love to have had kind of like before the Flapper show, for example, I had about, 4 or 5 weeks?
Yeah, 4
Well,
or 5
I had about 4 or 5 weeks in regards to doing the shot with the Flapper show, so I had to learn the set pretty quick. So I've never really been at your performance, where you just know that you can. I always still feel kind of, but again, because I've only been in the band for like a couple of months, but I've still done it. I've learned them, but I always feel one step behind at the moment. We suffer a little bit. In the best way possible, though, of course. So for me, like, I feel like the more I do, the better I get, obviously. So, but learning so many songs really quickly, it was fun. But yeah,
it's a chore.
You learn that way, don't you?
We needed to see if you could do it.
Mate, you got to go to still do these things.
This year's going to be pretty bloody busy. So
honestly, like playing Pike Glass, for example, with Pike Glass, that was incredible.
That was a great show.
The adrenaline of just going out there knowing that boom, I'm front and suffer. Like, let's go. Greg's back, motherfucker. But it's kind of like, it was just so good. It was incredible. So I agree. I think more vocalists do need to learn like a larger amount of songs. I'm the same. I mean, for example, I'm going to know the sets, but I'm still going to practice Devour and Feast. Yeah. Just on the off, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just in case, like, I don't know, Bill Joe falls on the laptop and then it just happens to delete 8 songs. You know what I mean? Just in case, you know what I mean? Just active God-proof it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
God-proof it.
It's always
like
good
that.
to have.
We've
got a big back catalogue.
Yeah.
That could be a killer song name is God-proof. And it's like, whoa, what is that talking about? It's like, well, it's about the industry
actually
standard.
It's kind of a nice little...
Yeah. Oh, we've got to name the EP. We haven't named the EP yet, so...
Interesting. Well, that's awesome. So maybe perhaps in the near future, very similar to my co-host Finn the Orc King, who me and him actually both met through the Mental Cruelty Vocalist Edition when they kicked out Luca. And he covered the entire fucking album for A Hill to Die Upon and had it like processed and produced and everything and just threw it onto public domain. And I'm really surprised that they didn't decide to scoop him up for that, because he also has, black tattoo dyes, and he can speak German pretty well. Like, these were all mechanics that I was hoping would manifest into him being their new frontman, but then they chose Lucas Nicolai. He's pretty good too, and he plays a lot more into the culture that I was hoping Mental Cruelty would aspire to incorporate. So, I mean, that's really all that matters. But Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is a lot more people, I think, if they want to just be a frontman and maybe social media manager on the side, graphic artist on the side for the band's merch or some shit, really get involved in more ways than just being a vocalist. I think that's one way to do it. Like, if you just want to be a vocalist, learn how to cover an entire fucking album. That way people understand that in person live, you're able to handle all the songs, let alone the songs of a band you just happen to like. Like that's lifing right there to me. So hopefully we can then manifest that standard for other frontman and vocalists in the scene.
I think it's important as well having you set down, because obviously there's going out there and performing a song, and then there's putting on a show, and there is a difference. I don't care what you say, there's a difference.
Yeah, of course there is.
And being able to move comfortably and be able to do your vocals comfortably is all part of the show. Because like, I always have the goal: don't stand still. If you can move, don't stand still. Make yourself busy, cover a lot of space, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, there is a certain element of choreographing, ain't there? So in between like songs, for example, you just know like if it's a fast song coming in, it's time to pull up a little bit, or okay, so this is a song where it doesn't be, I agree, having the comfortability on a set's important, and having your stamina. I mean, I'm going to be currently doing some stamina coaching for myself, because I've highlighted, okay, so I've got it down. But obviously, because we've got the extensive touring coming up, it's just kind of like I want to be on my A game. So again, this is built through, like you say, practice and.
Yeah, you're already a handsome devil. You just need to work on being able to move around a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. So
keep the beard too.
Yeah, no, I'm getting rid of the beard.
Ah, man, keep the beard,
bit,
bro.
I think, warming up is essential, isn't it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
I've always said do star jumps. Yeah.
You gotta do some stretches, man. You gotta get about it. Even on these small stages, you've still got to do it.
I remember Hartley Pilcoop came up to me, "Why did you sound louder than sound check?" Well, because I warmed up. Warmed up, you know.
Yeah. Sound check, you're not going to give it, are you?
Optimal capacity, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to do my sound check warmed up. That's madness. Yeah, but no, I'm joking. But it is part of the game, isn't it? There is an element to being a vocalist that you are still a musician. You still have to treat your instrument with respect.
Yeah, of course you do.
You break a finger, break a wrist, you're okay. If I over push or if I do this, we all know what happens, doesn't it? You get vocalists that get blown out. And...
I mean, I don't know if I'm playing a blast beat with a broken wrist, but we'll let them go.
None of your excuses, though.
I could have no hands, and they would moan at me for not blast beating.
Yo, Jack's become paraplegic. What the fuck?
and it, like, I can't walk anymore. Well, that doesn't stop your legs from kicking pedals.
You sit down to play your instrument, you bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
I would physically get you in a Tesco's trolley and push you, and then upload the strap into the stool.
They would make me sit on stage if I couldn't play drums, and all I was doing was pressing play on the laptop. They would literally make me sit there all night. Just pissed off as fuck.
Oh my god. Well, let's go ahead and attempt to move forward with the questionnaire a little bit more. And I would say, despite all the bands that we've hosted from the UK, the ones I would name off being most important: Black Orchid Empire, To Obey a Tyrant, Malice UK, with Josh Davies jumping on for the session he did. There were a couple others. Pathogenic Virulence, with the members we hosted originally being from Romania. Like, we've hosted a few bands from the UK. Warm Infested, that was the most recent one.
Good to hear our friends there, ain't it? I mean, we've got we're going to be playing with Obey a Tyrant. Also has been mentioned. I mean, Josh is obviously, you know, at a deathcore moment. So
having a deathcore moment. I mean, it's true, but.
I'm going to hide in here for a bit. Let's not talk about deathcore moments.
I got up and went to work today, and that's how life rolls.
It is, yeah.
So I got up and flew to work. I'm living in real. So.
But yeah, needless to say, we've hosted quite a variety of different UK-based projects on here. But I still want to learn more in the topic of location. This is a segment inside of the people. So what is something you can tell us about where you're from, geographically speaking, that maybe our audience hasn't heard before?
I mean, obviously Birmingham is pretty much slap in the middle of the country, isn't it? Really, we are the Midlands.
Yeah,
Well, to the west. I suppose we're West Midlands. We're classed as.
We were the birthplace of industry. So
Yeah.
the way we were from the Black Country, it was the name it's given derives from Queen Elizabeth going past on train, and she looks out the window and says, "Oh, what's that over there?" And there was like, "Oh, it's Dudley Smethwick Way," and there was kind of like, "Oh my dear, we'll call it the Black Country," and then henceforth it stuck.
It's because of all the soot and the coal and all of that. Like everything was just smog. And she went through it like, "Nope, I'm not getting out here," and off she went. And that was what got named the Black Country. So like Wolverhampton, Dudley, Smethwick, like all this. I mean, Birmingham's technically not in the Black Country. It's like right on the border, but Wolverhampton, where the band are technically, well, we are based because that's where our rooms are. Yeah, the Black Country.
Yeah, it's
that's
kind
what
of
they're called.
It's exactly where your mind's eye would take you. Know what I mean, it's kind of like my playground growing up was kind of like an abandoned warehouse.
Oh yeah,
abandoned
yeah.
factory.
Anything abandoned. That's why we didn't have play areas. We had factories and abandoned hospitals.
Yeah.
And
That's
stuff.
actually pretty badass.
Like, yeah. But of course, like greenery around here is few and far between. Like getting out somewhere, it's like rows on houses on houses.
Not where I am. I've got Sutton Park,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is absolutely huge.
Oh,
Park.
yeah.
But,
Where we come from.
yeah, where we come from,
where
like
we come from,
we
yeah,
have
so-
like the occasional little
Yeah.
football field. And it's mainly just all like everywhere is industrial estates and work and factories and
It's almost going through this metamorphosis where it's kind of like shedding off all these old abandoned factories, then a new building pops up that looks really weird. So it's kind of like it's where progress has met the end of the cycle before.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of-
yeah, Wolverhampton's an interesting place.
Well,
To say the least.
if I may ask, as someone who may perhaps make their way over there someday through whatever efforts manifest said opportunities, how far do you have to go from your local area to like really start seeing the abundance of green, or
I mean, not too far for me. I mean, the abundance of green. So, like, close to where I am, there's a place called we've got the Peak District up toward that's like Leeds way. So that's a couple hours away.
I suppose if we wanted
On-
to see,
I mean, Gloucestershire's pretty.
there's always a green belt, ain't there?
Yeah, there's
always
green belt
I mean,
everywhere. We have
I mean,
bits
you
of
know, we're never
countryside.
too far away, but like, if we wanted to see, say, for example, something like real wilderness, you're probably talking kind of Wales, aren't you?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that type of way. If you
I mean,
wanted to
we're at
see-
least 3 to 4 hours away from any coast
yeah.
where we are.
If you
Like,
wanted to
we're
get
the
somewhere-
furthest.
If you wanted to get somewhere like untouched by humans, that would be a bit more of a jaunt. But
North Scotland.
There is some. We're in reach kind of a nice park or a nice valley or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we have. I mean, it's like where we went and shot our video for Pendulum of Vengeance. That was like we drove an hour away and we were just in like some countryside caves, like,
Yeah.
and then we drive 20 minutes back from those caves and we're on a 2-lane motorway going like 80 miles an hour past all these big buildings again. Like, there's just most, like I say, most of England's like industry. It's not. That would be a massive myth, but it's. Everywhere you go, you can get a little bit of greenery, but then it's like bang city, like, or
Yeah.
big town, or something. There's something popping up. But major places. I mean, Sutton Park by me is huge. Like, I've never managed to walk all the way around it. It takes several hours to get around Sutton Park. Probably get lost. No,
I think
me.
I've cycled around it about twice in my life.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
probably a
definitely seen-
snippet of what Central Park is, for example, because everything in America's bigger. But
yeah.
I mean, the Lake District is probably our biggest and most prominent,
In
like in
England,
England.
yeah.
It's north of England, like on the way to Scotland, past Manchester and stuff. But it's called the Lake District. There's a place called Windermere. I mean, it's super picturesque. It's fucking beautiful up there, but just loads of lakes. Obviously, Lake District. But
Is that, our Welsh days, is that kind of... 'cause we're playing
yeah, it's South
obviously,
Wales
yeah,
in
in
Trade
Wales.
Forest. Yeah.
And the next tour we're playing Wales and Ireland, so we'll get to see some greenery.
Oh, Ireland,
Yeah.
100%. When we go to Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, yeah, we get on the ferry and go over there. Like, that is just, they're some of the most beautiful countries. Like, if you ever watch Sons of Anarchy season 2 or 3, whether they go to Ireland, yeah, it looks exactly how that looks.
See,
It's gonna be cool.
having been born and raised in a desolate desert landscape where the last few remnants of the Wild West are more or less tour attractions or tourist attractions, I find myself, whether through hometown syndrome or a prior reincarnation where I wasn't anywhere near Arizona, I find myself attracting and gravitating a lot more towards like greener hills and countryside and rural areas where, you know, yeah, there's some civilization there, there's people there, but not nearly as much as a downtown city anywhere here in the U.S. Like that's where I want to go really, really bad. And Tennessee ended up being a pretty good sampler for that. Not only that, but it seemed to be a really good like Goldilocks zone as far as its weather capabilities. Here in Arizona, rain's a miracle. Rain is very, very rare, right? Because the air itself is too hot. Even if overcast comes over sometimes, even if a thick blanket of insulation and overcast sweeps over sometimes, at the peak of summer, it's too hot for the rain to even touch the ground. So it doesn't come down. It just passes over us. I'm like, oh, later.
Yeah, it's like that. From my sister lives in Wyoming, and she says they have like super hot summers, but then like in the blink of an eye, it's like, oh, it's like -20 and it's just snow. And I'm just like, what? Like,
yeah.
The weather in America just blows my mind. Like she'll phone me one day and be like, yeah, it's like 40 degrees. Well, 40 degrees to us, like, because we do Celsius, so probably people are gonna think that's cold. Well, if that's really hot to us, 40 degrees is super hot. Like we never see over like what 26 in England, so we don't get like 40 degrees. And then the next day she'll phone me and there's like 2 foot of snow outside the door. I'm like, I'm never coming to see you. Like, I'm not built for that much of a change rapidly.
Well, I mean, if you're appalled by that, I can only imagine how much more entertaining or terrifying it could be to be in a tornado alley state territory, because we had one.
I watched some programs and I watched that Eye of the Storm program on Discovery recently, and it's like point of view of people being in the storms, and fuck me, I was like, I've been to a lot of places in America, but that I'm like, how have I never seen any of this happen? Like, I'm so glad. I've been so fucking lucky. Every time I've gone, I've never had to deal with like severe weather. So,
you know, how do you even like put that into your thought process? Well, okay, I'm existing, but don't forget tornadoes.
Yeah, we don't get tornadoes, and if we do, it's like a few leaves and a bin falls over, and we're like, Storm Karen.
The slightest bit of snow, we're like, it's working.
Yeah. Oh yeah, mate. If we get like 4 inches of snow, my van does not leave. I'm like, nope, I'm going to bed. Fuck it.
No thickness and like the rim of your shit. No, snow.
It's not worth it.
England, we just don't work in snow.
Yeah, the money is not worth it to leave in the snow. I'd rather just stay in the house, shut the curtain, just nap and eat snacks and watch wrestling. That's me. I'm good on a snow day. Fuck everything else.
It's almost social contract now, isn't it? If it snows, you don't work.
Yeah. My work even expected. They knew it was going to snow heavily not long ago, and they were like, "Look, if no one can make it in tomorrow, it's cool." So no one made it in. Just like, okay, if you're saying it's cool, well, I'm not even going to set my alarm, brother.
No, what I can say though from personal experience, being over in Tennessee for the 1 year I was, we did indeed have a tornado touchdown, I think 5 blocks from our house, and I really wasn't used to it. So before a tornado touches down in most of the state territories, whether the true south, the south eastern coast, Florida, you know, hurricane, very, very hurricane vulnerable, or in tornado alley. Yeah. Year after year, somehow they are.
Yeah.
But for one, right, in reference to that, as long as you don't show up like at the end of spring for most states, which we don't have a spring, it just goes from like fucking 59 degrees to 80 degrees, and we're like, like we're already there. It sucks. But as long as you don't tour in the US during the tail end of spring or the tail end of fall, you'll be fine. Because for whatever reason, there's a massive weather fluctuation. So tornado alley states or the true south, when that switch happens from spring to summer, there's just enough turbulence and balance, or torrents, I think that's what it's called, between kind of warm and super warm wind. That's like how tornadoes happen. And the same thing happens from fall to winter. It's like that's a last stand of the year for tornadoes to form, because you have just drastically enough different temperatures and wind colliding, and then they start creating funnels. And yeah, Oklahoma, ironically, one of the states I might move to, is responsible for the most powerful and largest tornado ever, which was like an EF5, and it's the one that the movie Twisters is based off of.
Yeah.
But you know, there are the normal tornadoes, and then there are the wedge tornadoes, which are just entire fucking walls of just funneling winds, and from far away it looks like it's moving slow until it gets closer to you, and it's just like it sounds like a train going by.
Yeah.
And it's just a wall of winds going at like 150 miles per hour. So of course when it touches a house, it just fucking tears through that shit. That's the one thing I'm not looking forward to in possibly moving to Oklahoma, but like I'd rather deal with tornadoes than deal with snowbirds sometimes. Because at least there's a fresh start once they come through town. Snowbirds, nah, they've just popularized, and they happen to have a secondary house somewhere up north or some shit. It's weird. But yeah, it must be nice not dealing with basically any natural disaster weather over there.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, we do class like a little bit of rain as natural disaster. We're like, fuck, everywhere's flooded. It's just a puddle, but we're flooded. Like, it's a puddle in the garden, but the dog can't go out. Like, that's it. Like,
one day last year, it started to rain, and it rained every day for like a month, didn't it?
Oh yeah, we did have like a month
like
of rain, and
every
it was
single-
just crazy. I hated walking the dog for that month. I was not a proud dog owner. I was like, fuck this. My dog was happy as shit. He was loving it. He was like, I'm gonna go in this puddle, and bang, and I'm wet, and I was like, fuck. But he had a great time. So
No, honestly, the closest I've gotten to a month worth of rain straight was a week worth of rain straight. But here in Arizona, we have this like bipolar weather. So there's monsoon season, and that's like supposed to be spring to summer. That's kind of the closest we get, and it involves similar weather patterns to what creates tornadoes in Tornado Alley in the true south. But we'll have these bipolar just spills of rain where it's like audibly just shh rain even inside, and then it'll just stop and it'll be a clear day. And then it's just gone for another 2 months, and we're like, where did it go? Like it's a whole situation. I hate it so much.
It rains that much here. We actually have different types of rain. You got the rain that gets you wet, ain't you?
yeah, you got the rain that gets you wet.
The stuff that goes straight down.
Yeah, straight there.
There's lots of rain.
We got stupid names for rain.
It's raining all
Like,
the time. It's the stuff that gets you wet.
Yeah, it's like, what's the rain like? Pissing down.
yeah.
How bad is it? Fucking pissing down. Like, there's pissing down and there's fucking pissing down.
Yeah.
Like, he's nailing it. Like, it ain't worth it. I ain't going out. I don't even want to drive in that weather. I'm just like, nah, it's too wet. I don't drive up.
Dude.
Well, can't it? Like in the summer, man.
I'll ask them
the
as-
humidity is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, it's not warm. It's just humid.
Yeah, like
It's
all
mist.
my American friends here that like were just like, yo, it's 32 degrees and it's fucking ridiculous. I'm not leaving the house. I need shade. And all my American friends are like, you're a bitch. And I'm like, no, it's fucking different. Like, I've been to Florida and I've been to Vegas. England in the summer is worse because we don't know what aircon is. The country was like,
Yeah.
aircon, fuck that. We don't want to be cold. We'll just have all of this shit, and it's horrible. Our houses are not built for it.
It's like weather patterns. When our houses were built, it was back in the days where you would have like a load of snow, wouldn't it?
Yes, our
And
houses are like
the winter
insulated for winter
Yeah.
all year round. So,
Whereas now the weather's not even close to that anymore, is it?
Nah.
It's ridiculous the amount of climate change we've had in England over my lifetime, realistically.
and if you find a building with aircon in the summer in England, most people will flock to it. So
Yeah.
that's where the businesses make their money in the summer. They're like,
And then
let's
in the
get aircon because everybody will come in.
And then because of fuel prices in the winter, you all go sit in the weather spoons.
Yeah.
Well, because their heating's on you. Yes.
Yeah, winters. It's a weird country, our weather is. I'm not a fan, but
Fair enough.
everywhere I go, I'm never a fan of the weather. Like, I'm like, it's too cold, too hot, it's wet. Ugh. I haven't found the perfect weather yet.
Every day you just have the odd week of it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. It's
What's
just
the weather like?
yeah.
It's not hot, it's not cold, it's not raining, it's just all right, and the sun ain't too low where you get blinded while you're driving.
And we
so
call
we're
that
all-
t-shirts and shorts now.
Yeah, t-shirt and shorts days, that's
It's
it.
proper t-shirt and
Yeah.
shorts day today.
We get about 3 or 4 days of that a year, and then the rest of it just fucking sucks weather-wise. Like,
Mm. Well, I mean, yeah, at least that in that way we kind of share our opinions on weather patterns between Arizona and the UK.
yeah.
There's like the rain is a miracle here, and over there it's like, yeah, it's balanced out maybe 4 days a year, and then
Yeah.
other than that, it could be like an entire month of rain. I'm like, that sounds so nice. Like, literally dust and
pattern you really-
smog.
Yeah. The only pattern you really get is like England and America seems to be hotter the further south you go, and then the further north you go, it just gets worse. Like you get to Scotland and it's just I love Scotland. It is a beautiful country, but if
Wet.
it's not even that it's wet. It's like it snows up there all year fucking round. It's
Really?
like what year? It's August, and then you can go real far north into Scotland and it's just snow. It's like I'm like, what is going on?
I
Like,
went to Edinburgh for like a week and it rained like
oh, rain every
3 out
day.
of 5
Mate, I had to
days
buy
on
new
the
trainers when I went to Edinburgh because the first day my trainers were ruined. Like I got
Damn.
there and I was like, well, wrong footwear. Went to TK Maxx,
Yeah.
bought new trainers. It's like,
I might have to go to Scotland here pretty soon. That is where like my actual blood lineage comes from too. And we
oh, right, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
like Cross
Helps.
isn't Cross is not my last name, but I try to keep my
Mm.
actual last name just private. But like
Yeah,
we connect to royalty over there, man.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know like who was the last one that lived there that was directly related to my bloodline that came over to the U.S., but I mean, we also are related to the Hamilton family, as in Alexander Hamilton. So it's like
Crazy.
it's very interesting. And I've always wanted to go there. It just it makes more sense. The green, the accent, the food. I'm like, oh my god, I want to
Yeah,
go there
Scotland.
so bad.
Scotland's amazing.
They will deep fry anything more.
Oh, they will deep fry anything.
I
It doesn't
went
matter what it
No,
is.
I
Chocolate
was-
bars, deep fried
Yeah.
Mars bars
Oh,
every day.
I was deep fried stuff when I went there, like deep fried pizza. Like,
Yeah, deep fried pizza, yeah, fucking- It doesn't matter
Deep fried
what
pizza.
you. If you walk into any place in pretty much Scotland, well, it's not any place. That anyone Scottish watching this is going, this guy knows fucking nothing about Scotland. But like in my experience, of the like 1 or 2 times I've been to Scotland, you could deep fry a can of fucking Red Bull if you wanted to.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't matter. Like,
if you take chippy, if you pay them, they'll deep fry it for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
You
Yeah.
take, for example, I don't know, a tuna sandwich. And
But-
just go, like,
you could deep fry that.
Here's the thing: how do they deep fry it? Is it with seed oils or is it with beef tallow? Do you know?
Probably with seed oils,
if
I
you
would
don't know,
imagine.
if you don't know the answer, do it. It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. To be fair though, it doesn't really matter to us. Like we don't ask that question. It's just fucking fry it.
It already went too far when it was deep fried, really.
Yeah, yeah. I can literally walk in
It's-
any chocolate bar I want. I can walk into a Scottish chip shop and like,
Probably
and they will literally deep fry and batter it, so it just comes out deep fried battered chocolate bar, and then you just
Oh,
munch away.
Oh my god!
I would wager good money that there is a mom somewhere in Scotland that probably took, what is it, your placenta that you can eat after.
Oh my god!
Deep fried placenta. That's a new song. We're gonna write this on deep fried placenta. Let's have it. Where do you get this shit from?
I just thought, where does it end? I thought, honestly, mate, it was in a sense, I was thinking, where does the deep frying end? There must be a limit. And I thought, what do you eat? That's
Could you eat haggis?
tried it. It's all right.
I want to try haggis really bad.
Right.
It didn't do anything for me, but you know, haggis. You know, you have to try
Haggis.
it. It's like Iron Brew, you got to get an Iron Brew.
Yeah.
You got to get one. Like, as soon as I first shop I went in, I was just like, right, 5 cans of Iron Brew for the hotel. While in Scotland, I'm having it. That's my thing. I go to America and I'm like, right, I need all the Mountain Dew, every flavour. Just go get them all, put them in my hotel fridge, and crack on with my week.
Oh my god! No, that sounds great.
I do that in Europe. Whenever I get to Europe, they have a flavour of Fanta over there called Cassis, and it's like blackcurrant Fanta, and we don't get it. We get like black grape Fanta, and it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I go to Holland, like every time I go to Holland or Europe or wherever I go, that's my go-to drink. I'll just go and stock. I'll buy a crate of it, put it in the van, sweet. I'm good for the tour.
Yeah.
I just have a drink that I have to have.
Because we're all old men now, except for Clove, but he's on his best behaviour. When we go on tour, we've all said, right, we're actually going to do some sightseeing. No, we have actually sat down and said, when we do go on tour, the food is going to be fun.
No, that's that. Oh man, y'all making me want to go to Scotland even more because our
Scotland's back.
oh dude, first Scottish band
just hope
right out
you
the
can
gates.
drink.
Oh, I can drink. I can fucking drink.
If he's got
Yeah, yeah.
Scottish in his blood, then he's a drinker. It's born in them from
It's-
birth. That is the first drip they get. Is fucking beer.
Well, from the dead, some Guinness.
yeah.
No,
Scottish women breastfeed on fucking beer.
oh my
There
god.
you go.
No,
The
I
people
am
that are
definitely a
Scottish
drinker.
that follow stuff that aren't following stuff no more.
Yeah, no,
I think
true.
we lost them.
We lost the Scottish fans. Sorry, guys.
Lost them.
Oof. Oh my god. Then people are gonna ask, and you can tell them you got that from the Anatomy Crosscast. Just like we happen to
Yeah,
be
there we
talking
go.
about shit.
Yeah.
Blame Sean Cross.
We'll do a gore grind slam side project called Deep Fried Placenta, and then just
No, Mark II.
Mark II.
just for add this place.
Deep Fried Placenta Mark II. There we go.
Oh my god.
What happened to Mark 1?
What happened to Mark 1?
That's the first question that comes out.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah. First rule of Deep Fried Placenta.
Don't
Talk about
Mark
Mark 1.
1.
Oh dear.
There was never a Mark 1. It's just an astronaut meme.
The astronaut.
Our guitarist really wants to go kind of like black metal on songs, doesn't he?
Yeah, he loves black metal, so like he tries to. We'll write a song and it'll be like 3 minutes, and he'll be like, "Yeah, but if we do this, this, and this, and next thing you know, we've got an 11-minute black metal ballad," and we're like,
We become afraid of listening.
"How did this happen?" Like,
So the next time he turns up, me and you're gonna sit there and be like, "We've got an idea." We can be like, "What? Deep Fried Placenta Mark II."
oh, he'll be into it. He will be like,
"What?"
"Sounds great."
Please, though, do me a favor and do not do a side project. Just have it be a fucking Suffer EP, because Suffer sounds equally as deathcore as it does slam, and it's like
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
better for budget, less complicated for fans. I, for one, like am really tired of bands having side projects where like they just throw random shit. Like, yeah, I get it, but at the same time, like, save your budget and just have a more of a variety on the discography. It's like, yeah, next EP,
Yeah, okay,
we're just
yeah,
gonna
that's a good
fucking do
point.
slam.
Yeah.
Thank you. Finally, someone's come out and said, "I was holding back. I didn't want to be the one to say, but I think Fluffer needs to do a slam EP called Deep Fried Placenta Mark II."
I guess we're going to shake on it. There we go.
Yeah.
There's evidence.
I'm sorry, man. Hey guys, guess what?
It's alright. I'm never going to send them the link. They're not allowed to watch this, so there's no evidence for it.
Gonna gatekeep the fucking Crosscast.
Yeah.
That's what Cloud's mum then. They were.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Tell people
We went
about
on-
how
we did
much
a
you hate the show
radio-
after.
We did a radio interview on Tuesday, and the first thing he says is like he talks about how new guitarist mom being fit, like really good looking. I'm like,
But I do,
bro,
every
what are we
interview-
doing? Every interview, I'm like, we've got to stop this shit. His mom's gonna watch them one day and go, "They all fancy me."
That's the thing. She's still not watched them. What's Cloud doing, man? Show your mum the interview. Look, Mum.
Show your mum.
He never does. He never does.
Show your mom that we all fancy her. That's fuck no.
I try to talk to her.
And that's where the
Very
band name
direct.
comes from. Jack Kent Suffering.
That's pretty much how it's going lately. To be quite honest.
We photoshopped Marlon and Cloud's mum's faces together and put it on a t-shirt.
You do realise this is going to be a public people will be able to watch this, right?
Yeah, man.
Hey, this is true counterculture, bro. This is what it sounds like. We don't give a fuck.
So anyway, we've been Suffer and we've been cancelled. So we'll see you soon.
This will be the one and only Crosscast, Jack says.
yeah.
Check out Deep Fried Placenta Mark III, the band.
Ah, the band. No. Greg,
No,
no.
no.
Stop it.
No band. No band.
Oh God,
But,
I
no,
might be questioning my position here.
yo, on another note, I will do a fucking ski mask, fucking Baklavad, free vocal feature on that song, just like all that shit. I'll jump
Yes,
on that
let's
in a
do it.
fucking heartbeat.
You have to do the vocals though when you're in a toilet. You have to put the mic in the toilet and do it into there so we get that full toilet bowl.
I'll just clean the
Experience.
toilet before, yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, give it a little scrub. Maybe bit of bleach.
Maybe.
Don't drink it though.
No promise.
It's a bloody possibility.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on a
They
little
know
bit.
I love the clothes, my man. Fine.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I'm quite.
It's out the system.
This is a question that I love to ask musicians, whether they're brand new to a band or they've been in multiple bands for a long time and have had a chance to really do their homework and understand what the industry is like. Or this could apply to your own personal life. This is question 6 in The People. What lessons have you learned as a person or a musician, and how did those lessons drive you? Or how could they apply to others trying to accomplish what you have so far?
If there's one word, I would. I think we mentioned this before we actually came on the podcast as well. Like, I would say, if you want to do something in music as a band with peers, whether they're your friends, whether they're people you just join up with that you get to know, compromise, baby. Like, it's what you've got to do. It's like you got a relationship, you're with your partner, you got to compromise on stuff. And music especially, because when you got 5 different mindsets of like sound, like we all have different influences in this band. Like I say, I'm come from a hell of a different background than what Greg does. Claudius, I mean, he's the baby of the band. He's only 23. Like, he's like 13 years younger than me, little prick.
20.
Yeah. He's like full blown. Like, the majority of what he listens to is death metal and deathcore. Like, so whereas I'm like, what is this band you're talking to me about? Like, I've never heard of them, and they're like massive. And I'm like, what the fuck?
But where did they come from? But hey, I will listen to them then.
Yeah, but I'd say compromise is a huge thing, because you got to get 5 people to push in the same direction. Sometimes for bands that's really easy. I mean, there's bands out there that literally one member is the band and the rest of them are just musicians. They just do what that person says because it's that person's band. Whereas we've always tried to run it like, we all want to have our opinions heard. We all want to vote on stuff. Sometimes we don't really do that anymore, but it's compromise, man, if you want to make it in music. But hard work, of course, financially being stable, of course, they're the basics, if you ask me. But compromise and listening to each other, and learning what each person likes and how they want to work, and trying to make that all work together. Oh, hang on, my phone is about to die. I've got about 10% left, so we probably don't have too long. I do apologize.
No, you're good.
I would say mine would be practice. You gotta practice. You've got to commit. And when I say commit, you can't like half-ass do it. You've got to commit. You've got to blindly in your soul commit. If you don't do that, and it's not even about a band per se, but the notion of being in a band. If you're kind of I want to do a bedroom project, that's fine. Just stay out the way of everybody else that wants to be in a band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because often you come across people in bands where, or at least I have, like trying to get to this point where they're not in it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah, so you kind of make sure that that's where you want to be, and then it'll come to you. But it's just time, practice, compromising. Yeah.
It's not all just live shows, it's not all just fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, like for example, this week the amount of money we've just dropped on, PR and music videos, recording, mix and master, the tour, like accommodation, ferries. I mean, the ferry alone to Ireland was £500. So like, just that alone is a lot of money. Like for a band, like when you don't have a financial backing. But like we know we're going to spend a lot of money. But we're committed to that. Everyone knows about it in advance. Like, we know what we've got to do. If we want to make this year successful, to get this band back to where it was, to be on the level of being able to do what we want to do. I mean, we've been lucky this year. We've got some really cool, like, I say lucky, we've worked hard as well to get what we've got this year, like festivals in Germany and stuff like that, and Belgium.
And it is true. Like, we are working hard. Like, every nook and cranny, every single nook and cranny, we have put in the effort.
This is the third. I mean, just the last 3 nights. Tuesday was a radio interview for us too. Wednesday we were all together in the rehearsal room, rehearsing the set, getting tighter, conversating about what the next plans are and what the next financials are and stuff like this. And then tonight we're here again. We're at my house. We're doing your Crosscast, and it's just like tomorrow we won't do anything tomorrow, but then we'll be meeting up Saturday and Sunday. We'll be getting on with it. Like, we've got writing to finish, we've got recording to do, we've got a whole EP to get finished. Whilst we've got 3 tours, we've got 2 tours before we've got to get the EP out, so we've got to be recording, writing, mixing, mastering, video shoots, all in between whilst going on tour twice. So we've got this tour that's announced, and then we've got a full UK in June, and then obviously we've got Europe in August. So we're just like, it's all going a bit crazy, but it's how you want it to be. If you want to do the things you want to do in music, then you got to treat it like a second job, but also compromise the fuck out of it.
And just the angle that you come at it as well. You've got to have fun.
Yeah, gotta have fun.
Let your fun be dictated by the show.
Yeah.
You can't let your fun be dictated by line up and nothing. You've got to have fun. If you're not enjoying just being there performing,
Mhm.
then this isn't for you.
Yeah, especially in metal. I mean, unless you're going to come in like a band like, I don't know, like President have just done, like, I mean, I don't mind President, like, I'm cool with that music. I love fucking Charlie, like, I love Busted, so I don't give a fuck. Sorry, of deathcore fans. But unless you're going to come in at that level where you know it's going to be your career and that's all you want to do, you've just got to enjoy it, because what's the point otherwise? Like, people pay and come and see you make pig noises, for fuck's sake. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
No, for sure.
Screaming into a mic. I've never been to Ireland, for example. So the notion that the first time I'm ever going to touch down in this country is to play a show,
Yeah,
because like that's where my music's taken me. That is a massive accomplishment for me. That's good. That's good enough for me. If nothing else ever become a bit, I could say, yeah, I played music, but the fact that it's like a tour, and then we've got other bits and bobs and everything. I mean, we're playing with like Signs of the Storm, Phil, Revocation,
Internal Bleeding,
Gutrectomy,
Wolverine, yeah.
All these.
That's all one festival, like, and there's so many other bands on it. Like, it's just a really cool. Big up Lucas, Don Lucas, big up him.
But also as well, you've got to learn to be a bit of a businessman as well, I'd say.
You've got to have a bit of savvy about you, especially
if you to network with people.
If you want to have a online presence, especially, you've got to be savvy with it, I think.
You've got to attend the shows as well.
Yeah.
Get to know who's who.
Network.
People.
Get out there, get to the underground shows that you can. You can't go to every single one.
Yeah.
But, if nobody sees your faces at these shows, why are they going to come and see you?
Yeah, of course. Because it's like it goes in every direction. It just it's got to be said, ain't it? You've got to go to other people's shows too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check my battery on the phone, see where we're at. I don't want it to drop.
And I think you got to be a bit tapped in the head, really. Ain't you? You got to be. It's just,
you got to be a bit stupid.
Yeah,
if you want to go to music, fuck.
Ambitious is a better word.
Yeah, ambitious, not stupid. Yeah, let's be nice about it.
Just don't be too.
Don't get into music. You're fucking stupid. Sorry, I'm just seeing my dog's like.
You've got to be able to keep it real. If you haven't, you've got to be able to, like, if you go into it with massive expectations and a full sense of security and everything, and it's just bound to fail, ain't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got to be daft.
I really like that answer. So, mainly compromise, but commit. And when you just put those two words together, they kind of dichotomize each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's like I understand and agree with the compromise, because even in a two-person romantic relationship, there will not be things that you agree upon, and you have to be prepared for that, because, well, chemistry kind of surpasses that said compromise. Whether it's silly little debates over philosophy, or, maybe they like Lord of the Rings, you like Warhammer, and you're like, fuck Lord of the Rings. They're like, fuck Warhammer. Like, you have to find that compromise and that common ground. Same thing goes for, as per the brand of this show, the hive mind, the collective being that is Suffer. But then you have to be able to commit and be okay with that compromise to make a band work. Like, that's just that's all there is to it.
Yeah, like if you don't like it but four people like it, sorry. It's not even a sorry, it's like that's when, like, that's happened to me during my time in this band, where I thought, no, I don't really like this idea, I don't think we should do this. But then, not in this lineup per se, but like in other lineups, and I've been like, but the other four members have wanted to go ahead, and that's what they want to try, and at least give it a try. And I'm like, well, let's fucking do it then. And sometimes it's worked out, sometimes it hasn't, but either way, doesn't matter to me whether it works out or not. If you don't try, you're never going to fail, but you're never going to succeed. So you might as well just deal with the fact that you've been outvoted in a way, and
suck it up, Sully.
Suck it up, put the work in, still commit to it the same way you would if you agreed with it, and then see what comes of it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's not just your happiness at stake. It's not just, is this decision that everybody's made really going to affect you so much in regards to the greater scheme of things? Because first and foremost, a band's about a bunch of lads that's having a bit of fun, ain't it? Let's be real. So if your decisions are kind of like getting to the point where you're not having fun,
that's when you lose the love of it, and you don't want to put money in, you don't want to give your time to it. I
feel responsible keeping this alive for you. the same way you feel responsible keeping it alive. For me, it's that kind of notion that we all keep this going together.
I mean, like I say, in 2025, when the second lineup dissolved, me and Coop, the bass player, were good. We were good to call it quits. Like, we weren't going to reform. Kieran was very much adamant that, like, we need to fucking try at least. Like, we had all these plans for this year, 2026, already not in place, but they were floated, and we had like loose bookings and stuff like that. And I was like, I didn't want to. I'll openly admitted it on several occasions, and in our press pack for this release, it's in there that I was just like, yeah, I'm cool. Like, I'm just too pissed off with the situation, so I'm good if we just put it to bed now. And Coop was kind of on a similar wavelength. And then, fortunately, Greg and Coop had been to, like, was it primary school?
Yeah,
like known each other since children. Like, and when he dropped me a message saying, "Oh, I'd be up for it," I'd be like, "Okay, like, I know you know Coop. I'll speak to Coop." So I spoke to him, and he brought a guitarist with him, which was obviously an added bonus because we needed a guitarist too. So we were like, 2 members, both local. We can get more of a relationship going. And I think it took maybe 1 or 2 practices for me and Coop to just be like, yeah, we're fully in, we're 100% in for this again. And then it's led to this. Like, we put a lot of hard work in to get to here, and here we are.
Meanwhile, me and Chloe just, "God, do you think we got it? Do you think they want to play with us? Do you think they want?" Like, I remember Chloe vividly like messaging me saying, "Oh, well, we've got to have this approach because what if they don't want us or this, that?" And I was like, "No, dude, we've got this. Just be yourself, nice and relax, learn the shit. Let's just crack on. We've got this." And then you said, "Yeah, we had it," and I was like, "See, it was good." Because we always used to phone each other. He was either having a shit or I was in the bath. And in that kind of time of night, we'd always have like, "What are you saying?" It's like, "Are we in the band yet?" "No, I don't know, bro." So yeah, it's just.
Yeah, we weren't going to rush this decision, because even though like we had some really good auditions this time round before we'd spoken to Greg. Like, I'd sent messages out to people I knew in the industry that might be able to, like, and we had some cool auditions, but like, people were further out. It would mean not meeting up regularly and stuff like that, and that was a massive factor in it, because we were just like, we've just done a lineup where, like, Aaron, our previous vocalist before Greg, was based about 5 hours away from us, so we would never see him unless it was shows or video shoots, because he would record on his own as well. So there's a little bit of a disconnect, and we didn't want that again. We wanted to get a unit that we could meet up weekly, and it fell into our laps with these guys, and it's worked out fucking really good so far. And hopefully he carries on and
We
doesn't.
haven't looked back since, have we?
Yeah.
So it's just been full steam ahead.
Yeah, we
Literally.
don't. With no egos.
No egos. I love it.
I know vocalist.
Mate,
He's
honestly,
never
if-
toured before, so
if
he's
you
going to do
can't-
one tour, and you never know what's going to happen.
The guitarist that we're on about, Claudius.
Oh, yeah.
He'd been here with his biceps out and everything.
Yeah, Claudius is really good. I mean, he's a phenomenal guitarist. But he'd never shot a music video before this one.
Yeah.
He's only been playing live for what, 12 months, like, so a year. So, and like I say, these guys have not done like
Tours.
more than like 2 days in a row. So we'll be doing 8-9 days around Europe this year. So big test for them. We've got another full week around the UK after these 2 weekends as well. So
We're
Big-
busy. We're busy.
big test for the guys.
Good shit.
No
No, I like
pressure.
it. All right. Well, let's go ahead and look to before your phone dies. Conclude
Yeah, see where we
the
are on
people
battery.
section of this podcast by asking one thing and one thing alone, but personalized between the two of you. This would be question number 8 for part 1. What do the members, specifically Jack and Greg, do for fun to connect outside of musical creation?
Ooh. What connect with each other, or
Yes.
it's a good question, because we haven't really had time, because when the guys joined, it was like, oh, we're going to start writing. Then we got offered a show. Then we got offered another show. Then we got offered another show. We also had New Year and Christmas in between that.
So
And then it's coming to this year. It's like, right, we got to write, record, music video. Then we're going to talk. It's like, we actually haven't had much
downtime.
downtime and hanging out, other than being in the van, like
hours on
for
end.
hours on end,
Well,
like
that's
when we're
good strength.
playing the shows. But other than that, like, I mean, him and Key, like I say, they bonded over Warhammer. We've had a few smokes.
So good.
But really, it's, I mean, we obviously we have a group chat and we talk a lot of shit in it, and it gets a bit,
lot.
a lot of shit. It's just memes and insulting each other, and the
Yeah.
usual group chats. And obviously, there's the occasional time we'll talk about music, but a lot of the time it's just who can we insult today.
Yeah.
It's normally me.
Building
I get bullied
rapport,
quite a lot.
then. I like it.
Yeah, yeah. So we all get on really well. Like there hasn't been any like clashing personalities as yet, as I've noticed. How long? When did you join? Was it September?
Yeah, September.
September time. So it's been a good 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, that's 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months. And like I say, me, Key, and Cooper are obviously fine. We've known each other now like 8 years. Greg and Claudius have known each other a year, and they've come into this band like they've known each other forever. Like, and it's worked. We've bounced off each other really well. I'm sure we'll start to hang out more. It's just we all live, like Claudius and Coop are about an hour and a half from me. Greg's 10 minutes from me, and Kieran is about half an hour from me, but he's also an hour from the other guys. So we only meet up like once a week, and when we meet up, it's normally to rehearse or write or record. So it's not like we hang out all the time. But when we go on tour and when we're out and about playing shows and that, like, there's a lot more downtime where we get to go do stuff and go to some cool places and stuff like that. But I'm sure we'll start to hang out more in the future. It's just right now it's just full blown like rebuild the band, rebuild the name, get going again, and just it's going to be basically the next 12 months are going to be so full on. We probably won't do much hanging out, but we'll still get to know each other and we'll still get to laugh and have some good times. But it'll just be more under the guise of graft.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I imagine down the road there'll be opportunities, won't there?
Yeah,
Down the
sure.
road there'll be lots.
Oh, of course.
I mean, when the weather gets better, we can have a barbecue, actually have some downtime. I mean, I'm expecting a baby, not me personally, but my partner is. Sorry, yeah, I'm holding it out now. So,
Suffer, baby.
no, but, my partner's having a baby. So, for example, in June we've had to kind of say goodbye for a few dates, haven't we? There's been a few big opportunities.
We've been offered a few things in June and July, but we both chatted about it. I mean, the other guys don't know about these shows. Sorry, lads.
See if you watch the interview.
Because it was already decided when we finish our tour on the 7th of June around the UK. We're doing a week. His baby's due 3 weeks later, and then we go on tour for 2 weeks in August. So, and we've got an EP to finalise in that time. So it's kind of works out perfectly in a way that the baby's due then, because we can have a little bit of downtime before the baby's due, and then he's got a month, 8 weeks where he hasn't got to think about going on tour. He can just be with his family, and it works out well.
Congratulations, by the way, Jack. Or pardon me, fucking Greg.
Yeah, I have fur babies. I'm just a dog man.
And
So
I've got a daughter and a very pregnant. Well, so I've got a very pregnant girlfriend at the moment.
Yeah.
Love you, Bab. But she's big at the moment. I call her my human submarine because she is. Human submarine. Feeling your baby kick. I don't know if you've got any kids, but feeling your baby kick and the weight that brings to any man's life, it's kind of like you feel that in your back nerves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's this poke that I've got right here. That's my daughter's poke already. That I feel the anxiety and the stress from it. But it is an unbelievable. I probably wrote a song about it actually. Like the transition from the moment you realise you're a dad. That is a very scary, life-changing process. So that'd be an interesting song point.
Sure.
Dude, I would love to hear
5%.
5%. Okay, we can work with that. 5%. No, that's awesome. And no, I don't have any kids, but I'll tell you, I'm probably one of the only people I know who's wanted that for so long, and no one I've ever had a romantic connection with in like the last decade has stuck around longer than 4 months to even like kind of maybe build up to something like that. But I've always tried to manifest it because I always
Stay positive, my dude. You will get there.
Someday. I'm
no rush on. You can't rush romance, man. No rush on that.
So my granddad was always a fan of saying, "The path to true love is a whatever one." It was actually a really good saying. It was basically the idea behind the metaphor is sometimes you gotta wait for something. Sometimes you just gotta take your time.
There's no pressure on it, Like,
it'll come when it'll come.
There's someone for everyone and all that.
Yeah. No, I mean, over the years, I remember being like really almost insecure about it, really. But then over time, I'm like, wait, I got an entire podcast and show and band and book series that I want to write and this and that. It's like, if someone showed up and wanted to stay, like, would I even have time for them? Most likely I would. But I've been kind of trying to reason with the universe and my life, my existence in that regard. So it's like, once upon a time, I was chasing that shit. I was chasing it left and right, and that was the problem. Now it's like, well, one, I'm planning on moving out of state within like a year or two. So fresh start, brand new environment, brand new people. Nobody I know is going to be where I plan to move next, except for the people I live with. So it's like that and all the stuff that I want to create. It's like, most likely I just need to create and hopefully not have someone want to jump into the picture because I've built a reputation for myself or something and they want to like latch onto that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I fear. And that's the only reason I think I was chasing near the beginning. It's like, okay, they can see me grow. They can see this journey I've gone through the last now 5 years and then hopefully appreciate it a little bit more. But that just didn't happen. I'm like, okay, well, hopefully I won't have a person who's just tailing me and chasing after me because they know I'm a YouTuber and maybe they're a creepy stalker fan. I wouldn't mind that in certain contexts, but for the most part, it's like you can't chase after that. You got to let it come to you.
That's exactly what I did. Like I was like, I had a bad relationship breakup in like 2015, 2016. What it was now, because it was that long ago that, you know, I've got a much better life out of it now, and I stopped chasing. Like I say, I just started focusing on myself. I only looked after myself. I didn't look for girls. I didn't want to meet with anyone. I wasn't on dating apps. I was like, fuck all that. I'm going to focus on myself. And then I met my partner by not chasing stuff like that, you know, and she's the best thing that ever happened to me. So I've got a house with her. We're engaged. Like,
wonderful.
And that was through not looking. Like, literally, I was not interested. Even when she first messaged me, I was just like, yeah, cool. Like, like I was not bothered in the slightest, but because she stuck with it, like, and we got on really well. Like, and then now I'm 7 years into this relationship. So,
First time I listened to my partner, she was wearing this like multicolored dressing gown. How crazy is that? You know, you think that's the first time you ever saw your partner.
Yeah.
And it's like she was wearing a multicolored dressing gown.
Yeah, my partner just messaged me on Instagram about my dog, saying he was good looking, and I was like, "Cool beans." and now I'm engaged. My dog's fucking full. I'm gonna have to have a word with my dog.
No, it's wonderful. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
it'll happen, my friend. I'm sure.
Yeah, it'll happen one day. I'm sure. And I mean, the people who do align themselves with me, who call me a good person, who, I don't know, just have some nice things to say about me, they speak upon a legacy that far predates anything that's on social media or even YouTube or the band. Like, a lot of people know that everyone's made mistakes. Everyone's had darker moments. But for the most part, I've always been a Disney naive optimist. I'm a hopeless romantic that way. So I thought that would eventually gravitate and attract the right people. And long ago, it really didn't. Like, I had someone pretend to commit death upon themselves to me as a sick prank to make me feel bad about splitting with them in the first place. Like, I've unfortunately,
they're the worst kind of people.
Yeah,
I've faked their own death.
And there they go. And so, until next time, that will be the end of the Anatomy Crosscast. Thank you to those who have watched and listened so far. We'll see you later.